Hey everyone, it's me again. It's so good to be back with you all again. So welcome to the Naomi Empowers show. My name is Naomi Empowers and I am your host for this evening. We do this every Sunday at 8 p.m. British Summer Time, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and midday if you are on the West Coast. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from in the world today. Please, as usual, get the comments going. We love to see who we have here. So do let us know in the comments where you are actually tuning in from. And I can see some of my Facebook crew already popped up. We have got, hey there, thank you so much for joining us. And we have Bianca. Bianca, hi, thank you so much for being here with us again this evening rather. So good to see you too. Hey Debbie, thanks for joining us. Thank you. So before I get too carried away with all the comments, keep them coming though. We love to see who we have online. Just to let you all know, this the Naomi Empowers show is your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and empowerment. It's an opportunity to get that shared wisdom and knowledge from our community. You see, I truly do believe that there is great value when we share the valuable life lessons that we have learned amongst each other. Here's the facts. I don't have the time, the energy, or the desire to make all of my own mistakes. I would much rather if I could learn from your mistakes. But here's the thing. Too many of us, self-included, can be a bit guarded when it comes to the times when we mess up, the places where we've gone wrong, and some of the difficult lessons that we've had to learn. Instead, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, showing our best selves and showing all of our wins. Well, here on the Naomi Empowers show, this is your opportunity to tap into some authenticity, to get the real deal, to hear from inspirational people who are doing amazing things in their field and are winning. Just want to shout out some of the people that we have joining us. I see Claudia. Claudia, hey, thank you so much for joining us. And is that Sanchia, please? I hope I pronounced your name correctly. It's your first show. I certainly hope it won't be your last. Thank you so much for joining us. And Bianca says she's ready to get inspired, motivated, and empowered. You are in the right place, Bianca, I can assure you. So everyone, I have had, in fact, before I say anything else, let me remember, I always forget this. For those of you who are joining us on Facebook, go ahead and press that share button. Somewhere down at the bottom of the screen, there'll be a little button you can press share, and it will be your chance to help spread the word and let other people know what we have going on here. You're about to get your fill for the week, and other people need to get it too. And for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, the YouTube crew, thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and press that subscribe button, but don't forget to press the little bell to let you know rather anytime we go live with an episode of the Naomi Empowers show. So everyone, look, this week has been, the past week has been really exciting for me. I feel like the week has just absolutely flown by, and it's been particularly exciting because I have something to share with you all. If you're not already following me on the socials, then this is definitely going to be news to you. But I am so pleased and excited to announce that this week I released another book, and it's called Success, The Inside Job, and it's available on Amazon, both on Kindle and paperback. So for those of you who have already got your book, thank you. And please, when it does arrive in the post or when you get it downloaded to your device, take a picture, tag me. I absolutely love to see it. Anyway, that's enough about me and what I've got going on. This show is, oh, wonderful. Bianca says she received hers yesterday. So happy. Bianca, please take a picture and tag me. I definitely would love to see it. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm really excited about the guest that we have today. I had the privilege of meeting her a couple years ago now, and I was absolutely blown away by this incredible woman. And I'm not going to say too much because I want to let her awesomeness and her magnificence actually speak for itself. So, what I'm going to do now is give you a little intro, a little taster into the incredible woman that we have joining us in just a few moments. And after this intro plays, the next beautiful face that you will see on the screen is my special guest for this evening, none other than Christine Giscombe. Stay tuned, guys.
My mentoring and coaching is to help women that have limiting beliefs of I can't, to get them and transition to a place of I can.
Hey, Christine.
Hi, Naomi. How are you?
I'm doing incredibly well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. I love what you've done with the intro. I'm looking thinking, oh my God, is that me?
It absolutely is.
Yes, it's me. It's me. It's me.
Oh, Christine, it is such a pleasure to be able to have you on the show. Tell me, how has lockdown been for you?
Lockdown has been, apart from the sickness and the dying of people, lockdown has taught me so many things about myself. It's taught me patience. It's taught me communication. I've discovered new skills, and I've learned to slow down. Slow down. I was rushing about going to work, had no time for my husband, sleeping at 10 o'clock. I'm now up watching TV, I'm reading books, I'm journaling, I'm coaching online. So it's been really, really good. I'm not sure that I want to go back to the old way of working.
Listen, I'm right there with you. I have got no desire to go back to the old way.
No.
You know, I always say that, you know, I don't want to ever belittle or to take for granted some of the struggles that people have been going through during this time. You know, because by no stretch of the imagination, this hasn't been a good time. We're dealing with a global pandemic. People are being devastated. Families are being torn apart. Livelihoods are being lost. But, you know, I do believe that, and, you know, of course, our hearts go out to every single person out there who has suffered any form of loss during this time, or even any deterioration of their mental health, because obviously there are implications there as well. But, you know, what I find is that I love to see the resilience of the human spirit. And how we're able to adapt to different situations that may have been sent to break us, but somehow we are able to rise and still be the wonderful men and women that we were created to be. So I'm glad to know that you've been able to find the silver lining during this time. So Christine, now here's the thing. I have the privilege of knowing you, and I definitely mean it when I say it's a privilege. And we've got some people saying, hey, we got Melanie. Hey, Melanie, thank you so much for joining us. And Melanie is going to be one of our guests real soon, so stay tuned for that. And we have got Angela saying, hey, Auntie Christine.
Hi, Angela. Hi, Bianca. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Santia.
Thank you all so much for joining us and for being here. So as I was saying, Christine, I've had the privilege of knowing you for a few years now, and but again, I know that there are going to be people who are on the show watching live or on the replay who have never seen you before, never heard of you before. And so what I want to do right now is hand the floor over to you for you to introduce yourself. And again, as I say to all my guests, I don't want the humble version of the introduction. I want the full introduction, pulling out all the receipts and letting everyone know exactly how incredible you are. So over to you, Christine.
So my name's Christine Giscombe. I am 61 years of age. I am a wife, a mother, and very, very proud grandmother of 4, and a 5th one is on its way. Grandchildren.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very excited. So I currently have a day job, but I have an outside work job as well. And I have always, ever since I've known myself, I've been an encourager.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Bible, it actually says to encourage one another. I was always an encourager at school.
Okay.
What they would call that the modern day mentor or coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I always wanted to know identity is very, very important. It's key to me. But I didn't always know that. So at the age of 17, I had a child. I became a young mother to the disappointment of my parents, but wrote myself off, thought I had no value because I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know who I was, but I knew that I was a mother. And out of that experience, I think that the belief that I had no future held me back. But there was something inside me saying, girl, you're better than this. You know better than this. You can do better than this.
Yeah.
I started work in barristers' chambers because I had this interest in the law.
Okay.
So my day job now, I have progressed through that job. I've been working in the legal profession for over 30 years.
Wow. I'm
the director of finance and administration for 50 criminal barristers in a leading set of chambers.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you. I am a mentor and a coach. I've trained in emotional intelligence and cognitive behavior because I wanted to know how does the mind process and make decisions.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give back help. So I also, you're saying blow my trumpet. So I'm the past chair of the YMCA.
Wow, okay.
And for me, as a woman sitting on a board as a chair,
Yeah.
I can't say I naturally sat in that role. But when I looked and I thought, my gosh, you really don't deserve to be here. And there's a tiny voice where God says, but I have created this for you to show you what I have put inside you. So I'm the past chair of the YMCA. I am the past chair of the Speakers Association. I'm a speaker as well. I go to Jamaica. I do workshops. I actually sit on Richard Branson's advisory board, advising entrepreneurs in the Caribbean of how to shape and grow their business.
Amazing.
So that is just a snippet of what I do, what I can remember right now. I've been given an award by Sanchia. Sanchia, I'm going to call you out. Sanchia is my past local mayor. And I was given an award for recognition of the work that I'm doing in the community.
Amazing.
So that has spurred me on to just use my gifts, my talent and my skill. I sit on another board now, working with disenfranchised children, gang prevention, gang intervention. But my latest project is working with mothers and daughters and healing and restoring mother and daughter relationships that have been fractured in some way, shape or form.
Wow.
That is my passion.
I love it. I love it. And we are definitely going to get onto that a little more later. But we're seeing rounds of applause from the comments right now because people are absolutely blown away, as was I when everyone was learning about exactly what it is that you do and how you're able to create and give value back to the community. So, we thank you for the incredible work that you are doing. And Sancha's saying, Christine is amazing. And we absolutely agree with that. Christine, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine, the reason I asked you to be on the show today is because, and you all now have heard it for yourself, absolute legend. You all have heard it for yourself. She is an absolute legend. And I figured that there is no way someone who is so decorated, so accomplished, could go through life without learning some really, really powerful lessons. Here on the Naomi Empowers show, we're all about sharing these valuable lessons with one another, being transparent, showing up as our authentic selves so that we give each other the opportunity to learn and to grow. And so, look, Bianca's saying it, a role model. Absolutely. And sorry, since you said your age, I think I'm gonna have to say it again. Did you all hear this lady is 61 years old and look how amazing she looks. Absolutely amazing. We might have to get some secrets on that as well.
I have none. I'm blessed. I really am.
We can see it. It is showing, and I think you're radiating from the inside out. And
Thank
so I'm
you.
sure that everyone who is listening now, whether live or on the replay, is really excited about what it is that you're going to have to say. Christine, I really want to know. You have had an incredible life. You said you became, a young mother at the age of 17. And going forward, you have done all sorts of things, incredible things with your life. You've beaten the odds. You have succeeded. You have achieved. And now you're at a stage in life where you're now giving back to people. I guess I really want to know, and this is probably going to be challenging, but if you were to pick only one lesson, the most powerful lesson that you have learnt whilst going along your life's journey, what would that one lesson be?
The most powerful lesson is the power of forgiveness. And the reason why I say that is because in life, you have to go through life forgiving others, forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
And psychologists say to define forgiveness, it's a conscious, deliberate decision to release negative feelings of resentment, of vengefulness towards a person or a group who has harmed you. And sometimes we harm ourselves as well. And for me, I can weave in my life lessons of forgiveness through growing up, through words saying that you'll never amount to anything, to believing that. Yeah. To go into a stage saying, okay, Christine, you have to release those feelings. You have to stop doing to prove and do for yourself. I was driven by the negative words to prove people wrong. Yeah. I was not a person that you could just discount. There was value, there was purpose. I could change someone's life, even with my experience as a young mother. And there are many, I wasn't the first and I won't be the last.
Yeah.
But there are many lessons, life lessons that I had to learn from very, very early age. Now I am the age that I am. I have made peace with my pieces.
Yeah, wow. I love that.
I've turned my mess into a message, but one that empowers, that one that gives you tools, one that allows you to take a step and acknowledge, yes, I did mess up, but this is, whilst I'm living, where there is life, there is hope.
Absolutely. 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 Christine, if you don't mind, you talked about the fact that you turned your mess into a message. Now, like I was saying earlier, we get caught up sometimes and we just see the message or we hear the message, and that's what we kind of hone in on, and that's what we applaud and we celebrate. But if you don't mind, I want us to perhaps delve into the mess a little bit. What can you share us about those messy times of life, and what did you experience, and how did it actually affect you on a day-to-day basis?
So I would say that my mess started from childhood. And because of my training, we have adverse childhood experiences that embed itself in our very core. And they're subliminal messages, they're messages that our subconscious takes in, but we behave as these messages, these invisible messages. I'm not worthy, I don't deserve that. And so my mess was, it was a terrible mess at the age of 17, between 17, 25 to 25. I was just going through life every day, knowing that I had a child to look after at the age of 21. I was married with another child to look after, and just going through every day knowing that they depended on me to feed them. I still didn't know what my value was. I just wanted a job that I could just go in, do reception, not even engage my mind, but I could put food on the table. I was in a relationship that I did not thrive in. So that has an impact on top of you. And if you don't have a mother that is okay within herself, her behavior transcends to her children.
Break that down for me.
So you're not able to encourage your child because you're not in a place that is light. You're in a dark place. So if your child comes to ask you a question, the response that you give to that child may not be the one that will encourage or inspire or even equip that child. So they won't come to you. You don't develop a relationship with that child because they know, mummy, I can't go to mummy. And the effect that that has on that child is that that child will go somewhere else to go and get the answers to the questions that they need. And so in darkness, you just don't see yourself beautiful. You don't look after yourself. You don't put things that are good into your body. And life goes on. The days just go into months and years. You don't treat yourself because you don't have time to look at, you don't value yourself. You just know that I'm here to serve and I'm not even happy serving. I don't even know who I am.
Wow.
And my life went like that for a good, I'd say about 25 was when I decided there's got to be a fight in you. There has to be a fight in you. And I started to read books. I started to read books. I then decided that I was going to change my jobs, and I started to work for a set of accountants in Harley Street. And in Harley Street, they were so wealthy. I got presents, I got perfume. I didn't even know the name of them. Right, the wives and the partners' wives they were like in competition to buy presents for the staff. And I started to think, well, you know what? I never wanted to get my fingernails, but my fingernails are my joy. I never wanted to get my hands dirty. I just never wanted to. I always wanted to dress up. But dressing up as just going to work and not having no purpose or value was just not enough. There had to be a reason. I had to have a reason for going, not just feeding my children was fine. But what was the legacy? What was the message? You know, I couldn't tell them to be the best that they could be because I wasn't being my best.
Wow.
But I didn't know my best. I didn't know what my best looked like.
Yeah.
And I was always interested in the legal profession. And I mean, because of my age, there's the yellow pages. And I went through the yellow pages. You forgot yourself. Yeah, I forgot about myself. It's true. I didn't matter. But I always had an interest in the law.
Okay.
And I wrote a letter and I went through yellow pages and looked at all the barristers' chambers. And I sent a letter. And a young man said, I got no response straight away. 2 months later, I got a phone call. My name is so-and-so. You're still looking for a job? Yes. Would you like to come in and see us? Yes. Back in the day, we never had contracts. We had a gentleman's agreement, which was okay then.
Yep. You're in.
I went in on the Friday. I started work on the Monday. I never had a contract. I never signed anything. The only way I can prove I worked for that place is that they paid my salary into the bank.
Yeah.
And there my life began to take shape and meaning. I was doing something for me. And I was seen as a person and valued as a person, so much so that I worked in a set of chambers where they paid for me to become a mature student, for me to go to university.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
So, you know, God does look down on, my mother was a prayerful mother. In fact, I had prayerful parents. But even though I didn't have a relationship, he still looked after me. He still presented opportunities for me to walk in so I could see that I was someone. I still hadn't come to that place of loving myself. I still hadn't come to the place of forgiving myself.
You hadn't at that point?
No, I hadn't. Okay. No, I hadn't. I hadn't. But forgiveness is there's tears, there's emotion. There are, when I say it's messy, it's messy. It's not even the sob. This is messy, nose, everything on the floor, bawling in the bath. And because I had the children, the bath was the place where I would just let it go.
Yeah.
So when I came with my eyes puffy, they wouldn't ask me, what's wrong, mummy? I got married at the age of 18. And as I said, I didn't thrive. When I came out of that, that's when I started to find myself.
Wow.
That is when so there was a lot of forgiveness. And I hadn't got to that stage of forgiveness of the man that I was married to. But when you start to learn about other people and their behavior, then there's reasons why they acted in that way.
Yeah.
And when you know a story, then it is easy for you to say, I understand. Whether it be good or bad to you, it's easy for you to say, I now understand the behavior of that person.
Yeah. I've got a question on that, about understanding the behavior of a person. And, I know that I've definitely been guilty of this, or found myself in situations that were not serving me, in situations that were toxic in nature. But because I understood the story, or I understood why this person was behaving a certain way, it's almost as though I excused it.
Yeah,
And
to be the redeemer.
say it again.
To be the redeemer. It's okay,
Yeah,
I can save
that's
them.
exactly it. So I guess the question that I have for you is, and I guess I'm really asking because I figure that there may be someone who is listening now, or watching live, watching on the replay, who may be in a situation, in a relationship, or in an environment that is not serving them, that is really affecting them in a negative way. But because they feel that they understand, they are staying put, and they're excusing and they're enduring. What would you have to say to that person? How do you reconcile that? Like, I understand it, but you're hurting me. I understand it, but this is killing me. What do you do with that?
There are two elements of that. I remember saying to my father, oh, I the same thing. I excuse it. He's sorry. He doesn't mean to do it, but he's never had anyone that's loved him or shown him love. And my father's response to it, and he was just no nonsense. How do you expect a person to show love when they've never been given love from childhood? So that you're expecting something to come out of them that was never in them.
Yeah.
And they're fighting from a place of hurt. And you've heard the saying before, hurting people hurt people.
All the time, yeah.
And when you know that, listen, this hurting person is going to kill me, I'm going to die in this relationship, there is a time where you have to save yourself. My mum used to say, I discipline you because I love you, but I'm leaving you because I love me. I'm leaving you because I love you. You need to get help. But I cannot stay here because the two of us can't die together.
But
I know that.
Go ahead.
I know that there has to be more to life than this.
Yeah. I want to bring in a comment. Debbie said that once you can understand the narrative, in return, it's easier to forgive.
That's
and
true.
Sanchez also then saying you can't give what you haven't got.
You can't. They cannot come from that place of giving when they've never received it. They've never been nurtured. It is, you're coming with your love and understanding. But the longer you stay, the more you are accepting. You cannot change what you tolerate.
You cannot change what you
tolerate. You can't. And what you're doing is you're tolerating a behavior which in your head and your mind, this is not serving me. I am not living. You can't change it. You're sitting in the middle of that pit of toxicity. And if you've got children, what example are you putting in the child which will affect their adverse childhood experiences?
Christine, can we go on to talk about those adverse childhood experiences?
Yes, we can.
And also for those of you who are in the comments as well, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, please let us know if you have any questions for Christine. Remind us of the area that you're trained in again. I don't want to mess it up and get it wrong.
Emotional intelligence and awareness, and a cognitive behavior coach.
Okay.
And a speaker.
Right. So Christine, talk to me about the childhood stuff. And I'm saying it in the most basic way possible.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason I am asking is because as you've said, look, we all have a story. We all have history. We all have had experiences that have helped to shape and mold us into the people we are today. So what happens if I'm coming from a place of hurt, of whether it be emotional or any other form of abuse? What sort of impact does that have on me? And what do I do with that at this stage in life?
I think for the emotional intelligence, there are more people becoming aware that these adverse childhood experiences affecting children the way that they show up at school. And now they have children with mental health. We never had children with mental health when I was young. And there are different things that can shape that child. So it could be hunger. there's never been no food. It could be abuse, which abuse is shouting at the child. It can be beating. It can be sexual abuse. So there are many, many different aspects that can affect and shape that child. When you look at, say, the Jamie Bulger, where the children killed a child.
Yeah.
If you were to, and it's a terrible thing, but that is a classic example that those children, in one of them, definitely, there was abuse as a child.
Yeah.
So he was enacting, whether it could be anger, couldn't speak, wasn't able to articulate the pain. And some children just close down, they shut down, they have no voice, they can't speak.
Yeah.
Especially in this time now, more so now, where there has been no school. Those children that are going through the abuse, abandonment, rejection, it can be all forms. Your dad wasn't there, your dad didn't want to see you, your mum doesn't want you, you're brought up in a care home. All of this abandonment, rejection, discipline, abuse, it affects us. And we can keep it quiet, and it doesn't actually expose itself until we become grown adults. And it could be the birth of a child, it could be someone shouting, it could be a memory, it could be a smell. And this is how the adverse childhood experiences shape us. So it could be something that the brain sometimes locks off that memory because it is so painful, and that memory stays in a box.
Yeah.
Until someone says something, there's a smell, there's a visual, it could be on the TV, it can be the birth of a child, and that memory comes up. And it can come up and display itself in the most profound way.
Wow.
Until you get professional help, then I've got this thing, you've got to get to the root of the problem. If you don't actually get to the root of it, then you're covering it over with a plaster. And then someone come and bounce it again, and there's no healing. But in order to get healing, you've got to recognize and accept that there is a problem.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure we're going to have some more questions on that, but there's one question that has come in from Bianca. She says, where did you get all your strength from? What empowered you? And just to give some context to the question, Bianca went on to share that she feels useless because of her mother's treatment. She was never satisfied with her. So she says, it comes out a trigger and bam, then you're reacting, you're living out some things that have happened to you maybe many, many years ago, or memories that still linger. So where did you get your strength from? And how could someone who may be feeling how you were feeling get the strength to move on and to get the help that's required?
My inner strength came quite early on, because I knew that, I didn't get the help that I needed when I was young.
Okay.
But the driving force within me is that I knew that I wanted to help others. But before I could help others, I needed to get help for myself. And Bianca, I can resonate with what you're saying, because without going into deep detail, I had a very unusual relationship with my mum. She loved me, but her love was interpreted in a different way. So the discipline was harsh. Her words cut. And I was always looking for her validation. But she loved me, but didn't know. She didn't show me. So me as a woman, I was never hugged. I never got that hug. I never got that skin to skin touch. I was always striving. I remember I started off at a disadvantage in her eyes, because I was a young mother at the age of 17. So what good can come out of it? So for the driving force was first to prove that she was wrong. And then one day I said, you cannot do this for your mum. You have to do it for yourself. I go on to say that I was able and fortunate enough, because of the tools and the training that I had, to go back and speak to my mum and have the conversation. It was a courageous conversation. Have the conversation and say, the way that I am and the way that I was disciplined was quite harsh, but There was every child of my age was being disciplined. We got beaten, and that's it. That's how your discipline was. But they were only doing what they knew.
What they knew, yeah.
So in their love, they had harsh love, so they gave harsh love. I was the first of three, so they're always harder on the first one. And I was able to say it affected me in this way. It affected me in the way I saw myself. It affected me in the way I formed relationships. And the reason why I can tell this story is because I have made peace with my pieces. I have had that conversation with my mum. I have been able to forgive her. And the reason why I say that is because my mum is still alive. I love her dearly, but she now has dementia. So had I not gone to have that conversation, I don't think I'd be where I am now, because there'd be that I wish that I had, but I was able to. And I often mentor and coach women that don't have a mother that they can go, because the mother is no longer in this world. But you can go through it by writing a letter, and so your feelings come out, but with that your tears come out, with that your anger, but it's coming out. It's no longer in.
No longer suppressed.
No longer suppressed. No longer holding you. No longer are you in that fetal position of I'm not good enough. I can't do this. So you transition from a place, and I take them step by step. You take them from a place from I can't to I can. So I always give the analogy. I kneel with them when they're kneeling. I cry with them when they cry. I sit with them when they're sitting. And I stand with them when they're standing. And when they run, I just release them.
Wow. That is so, so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christine.
I hope that helped the answer to the young lady. I can't remember her name.
Bianca. Well,
Bianca,
I certainly
Bianca, I hope. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so pleased that you are here, Bianca. I'm so pleased. And the other thing is that I know that by making peace with my story and my pieces and my mess to my message, that I am inspiring and empowering somebody else, saying if she can do that, then I can do it too.
Yeah.
And there is help. I have now become the person that I needed when I was young.
Wow. That's amazing. And what a legacy that actually is. I think it's often incredible the way how sometimes our own pain can be repurposed.
Absolutely.
So the tears that we cry are not in vain. The hurt that we experience is not in vain. It then becomes a tool or or something to be able to unlock something in someone else, or to liberate someone else who may be going through a similar situation.
And once you know, for me, once you know the story, you understand the behavior. When you know the story, and forgiveness becomes easier. And that's not just parental. It's somebody can hurt you that you work with, your colleague.
Yeah.
But once you know their story and what's behind it, then it's easier for you to forgive that behavior and not hold on to that bitterness, because there is enough going on in the world that we can drink that poison of unforgiveness and be so upset that we can't sleep. You're wishing badness. And it's so negative that it eats inside you. You know, it makes you ill. You get anxious. Your whole body is out of alignment. Your thoughts are not. And that person that has upset you has gone about their business. And woe betide you seeing them laughing and living their life.
Yeah.
Because you can't laugh, because you're in that place of, I haven't forgiven. And many people don't know how to forgive, but it is a choice. You know, and it's not just, yes, I'm a Christian and I do understand that the whole thing of forgiveness, but it's not just that. People that don't have a faith can choose to say, you know what, I'm letting that negative energy go. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to dwell on it. I now have to fix myself, because I owe it to myself.
Owe it to myself.
I owe it to myself. It is my duty to look after myself.
Christine, I've heard it said, and I've seen things going around on social media in the past when it talks about forgiveness, and how it's really more for me than it is for the person who may have caused me pain. Sometimes we get confused and we think I'm not going to forgive, or I'm going to hold this against you on principle, because what you did to me has caused this effect, or has done this to me. And so it's almost in a warped sort of way. I'm thinking, well, I'm going to hold this against you to punish you, when really we're punishing our own selves.
Punishing our own selves, because the response from that person could be sorry. And they've just shrugged their shoulders and said sorry, because it's a sorry or an apology that we're looking for. Because that apology is not said in the way that we expect it to be said, then we're still holding on to, is that what you got to say? Well, what do you want me to say? I've said sorry. Yeah, but you haven't said it. I don't feel that you mean it. But so a person can say that they're really sorry. Yes, forgiveness does help you to go on, Bianca. It really does. Sorry, I've lost what I was going to say is that person can come back and apologize.
Yeah.
And you still don't accept that apology because you're still leaking and seeping that you hurt me. I want you to remember. I want you to feel the pain. They cannot feel that pain.
No.
They can't feel it. And you can go on through life holding on to that, and they've gone off and had a great life. And it makes you even bitterer, if there is such a word. But the bitterness grows.
Right, we created it today.
That's right. We created it. I put it in the dictionary. But you've created. So holding on to it, of that unforgiveness, is that you're expecting them to just come and fall at your feet. And even if they did fall at your feet and said sorry, you may not be in that place to accept it.
It probably still wouldn't be enough.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be, because the pain that has been inflicted on you for whatever, it could be one scale to another. One could be abuse in the worst sense of the word. And if they come and said, I'm really, really sorry, it does not take away that pain or that emotion or that experience, because you can't erase it once they've said sorry.
You're still living with the effect.
You're still living with that. And the other thing is that if you are the perpetrator, or you are the person that has done something to someone, and you go and you are so sorry, and that person decides, well, I'm just not going to accept it, don't want to speak to you, don't accept it, there comes a time when you have to forgive yourself.
Wow.
Because whatever action it was that you took, or whatever decision you made, maybe you were at a place that you didn't know how to put in healthy boundaries. Maybe you didn't have that word of wisdom that was sitting there. Maybe you weren't in that place mentally to make a decision not to do that. And maybe you were just immature in your actions, because there are things that people have done from childhood and it still terrorizes them.
Yeah.
Like stealing a sweetie. And that word goes, once a thief, always a thief.
Yeah.
That thing can stay with you until you turn around and say, I choose not to believe that anymore. I take those things out and write them down. Affirmations is one way, one sure way to take these things off. And you literally can take them off, saying, I choose not to believe these things about me. I choose not to, and replace it. Never just take off a negative and leave a space.
No, that vacuum will get filled.
The vacuum will get filled with, because the mindset is not being retrained. You have to retrain your mind and reframe your story. So I could have come on here, said I was pregnant at 17, life just threw me away. I didn't have anything and I'm depressed, I suffer from this. I have reframed my story. Yes, I got pregnant at 17. I'm not telling 17-year-olds to go out there and do it, because it happened to me, but my life was not over.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to realize that your future is better than your past.
That's right.
You now are equipped to make informed decisions and think about, what's the ramification of this decision? What is the consequence? And the consequences can go both ways.
Yeah.
The consequence is, what happens if I do, what if I do, and what if I don't? If I don't, I stay in the same place. If I do, I move forward, but I could fail, but you're moving forward. Failure is not where you stay. You fail yourself forward.
That's right.
You fail.
Yeah.
You speak about your failure. And then someone says, you know what? I know how you can correct this. And the more you speak, the more you can empower and engage. I haven't stopped learning, and I will forever learn. Even on here, I'm learning. You know how it was. Chrome, download. Oh my God, I am here. I've learned something. So social media and IT is one thing that scares me, but I know that that is a very, very powerful platform to get your message globally.
Absolutely. Christine, thank you so much. I knew this was going to happen. It always happens. We get talking, and before we look, like the time has gone. But I want to bring in a couple of the questions that have come in.
Okay.
This is one, I wasn't ignoring you, Lisa, but I wanted to bring this up at a time when we could finish perhaps what Christine was saying before. So she's asking, has this affected your other siblings in the same way? And if so, have they managed to move forward?
No, my sisters were brought up differently to me.
Wow.
And they had mouth. They could speak. And both of them, they're 5 years in between all of us. Because I had a child at 17, was married at 18, I was out of the house. They had that proper sibling growth, and they protected one another. And Mom, I didn't have anyone before me. And so, as much as, and my mum loved me dearly, but they only knew to discipline in that harsh way because that was what was given to them. And they wouldn't change unless you had the conversation. It had to start with a conversation. And yes, it's a crying conversation because you're reliving the pain. But that's the best thing that I ever did, was to have that conversation, because no longer would it hold me in that place of pain and resentment. It used to be difficult for me to deal with Mother's Day. But now I love, not out of duty, I love from my heart. I was a dutiful daughter. Everything that needed to, I'd buy the best, I'd give it. I was very good at that. I was very good at wearing that mask. Looking finely turned out. Nobody knew what was in my heart. But the day I decided to speak about what was in my heart and what was troubling me, that was where my the healing and the restoration started to take place in my heart and the inside. So now what comes in, it's from the inside. It's not even the outside. It comes from the inside. And I have love, an abundance of love. Now I'm desperate to go and see my mum so I can hug her and squeeze her cheeks and just do it from that abundance of love.
And not out of
duty. And not out of duty. Not out of duty.
Christine, I really want to touch on, before we do wrap up, I want to touch on the turning point. You talked about, the mess into a message, and it's great to say, but I really want to dig a little bit deeper for the person who is thinking, all right, Christine, that's great. I'm in my mess right now. How do I go from this point of mess to having my message? Talk to me about that turning point for you and literally what it took. So, for example, you spoke of, when you got that job and things started to change. You were out of a relationship.
Excuse me.
Serving you. Things started to change. Was it like one day you woke up and you just had an epiphany, like, yeah, I deserve more, I'm gonna go for it? What happened?
I wanted a better life for myself, but there was a decision saying, I've got to come out of this, and I have to speak. If I die today, I die today. But if I live tomorrow, that's it. I'm not turning back. And it literally was that. Either I get killed in this situation and I just die, or if I'm alive tomorrow, that is it. And it was, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And you see, I didn't know what my ability would be, but once that relationship, that toxic relationship, was out, I still wasn't out of the woods.
No.
But I then I knew I had my qualifications. I had a belief within myself. I got myself a mentor. I got myself a psychologist that was a mentor that told me about the brain and the processes and the thinking and the limiting beliefs. I was able to go out. I could invest money. I bought houses. I looked after the children. They had the best. And I did that by myself. But I had to learn to love myself. Right. So after I'd made that decision, tomorrow is the day. If I'm alive tomorrow is the day I start to live for me. and live for my children, because those are my responsibilities.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time by myself. I had to learn to love myself. I cooked for myself. If I wanted to go to a restaurant, I would go by myself. If I wanted to drink a glass of wine and a jacket potato, that's what I'd do. I'd set the table like I was at a restaurant, but I was courting myself.
Wow.
Because until you know your value, somebody can come and devalue you again.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the narrative changes once you know who you are. Because when you know, I'm not even saying no Brock Pocket man, but we would say that in Jamaica. But if you see a man that is coming and he's looking at you, you think, no, no, oh no, me, I am very, very expensive, and it's not in cost. It's I
Like
know my
finance.
value. It's not in cost. It's not finance. I know my value.
Yeah.
And if you think that you're going to come and treat me below that, no, I can do bad all by myself. And actually, I'm doing fine. I'm doing very fine. Until you know that, then you don't. Two broken people can't make a whole.
Oh.
You see, and when you are walking with your handbag and I'm handbag and heels, when you're walking with your handbag and your heels and your head is up, you feel so beautiful, but the whole journey is too long. I don't have enough time, but I had to ask God, show me what is beautiful about me, because I didn't believe that. That was not words that was coming to me. I've got a husband that thinks I'm stunning, but if I didn't believe I was stunning, he could tell me that 100 times a day. It doesn't matter. But because I know, yeah, you know what, Christine? Yeah, too bad. So when it comes, you can say thank you.
Yes.
Because I go up to it, I look cute, innit? I look and you have to have fun. I've learned to laugh.
Wow, Christine, thank you so much for sharing that, because, I think there's so much value in what you've shared so far. It applies to us, I guess, in almost in all areas of our life. You touched on the professional, you've touched on the personal, you've touched on the relational. There's all different aspects where this principle, or these principles even, can be applied. When we were speaking a little earlier, when I asked you about the most valuable lesson, you shared something with me that I just wanted to get up on the screen for everyone else to see as well. And you said, whilst you're forgiving others, it's important to forgive yourself. And I just want you to just break down what you meant by that, because I believe that there is someone on this stream right now, or live, or on the replay, who needs to get this message, who needs to get this point about forgiving yourself also.
So we're human beings and we're going to fail. We're going to do things that you think, oh my God, why? I've looked at myself, and I'm not dissing no one, but I've looked at some of the relationships and said, oh my God, you've got to have been in such a dark place. What were you doing?
What were you thinking?
What were you thinking? But when you look back at where you were, you didn't have the tools to make a better choice. Sometimes we get ourselves in relationships, and mothers get themselves in relationships, and I say women, they get in a relationship and then become mothers. How do you leave that when you know it's toxic? And that is a personal, and I wouldn't say to anybody just come out of it unless you're being beaten into your life. But I'm saying sometimes we make decisions, and that when we look back in hindsight, they are so wrong. But were they wrong? Because it's through those wrongs,
that's it,
your history becomes your destiny.
Absolutely.
So would I have listened to my mum saying, don't get involved with was I thinking about my mum at the time? No, I wasn't thinking about it. But for every action, there was a consequence. The consequence was that I became a mother. Do I love my sons? I'm telling you now. Me and my sons look like brother and sisters. No, sister and brothers. They look like they look like my brothers. But would I be without them? No. They've taught me valuable life lessons. Have I forgiven myself? Yes. My dad used to say, if you play with fire, you will get burnt. And you go and you trouble it, and you think, oh no, I'm cool. For me, you get pregnant, stand. Walk through the pregnancy, stand.
How did that happen?
Yeah, well, So you walk through the pregnancy, you go through the pregnancy, but even in life, sometimes we make a decision and we know we shouldn't. How many times have we said yes when we know that we should have said no? And by the time we realize you should have said no, there's a consequence.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't beat yourself up for the rest of your life. It's say, what can I learn from that? What lesson or words of wisdom can I pass on to somebody else? Because if you haven't walked the walk, you can't talk the talk. I couldn't share this story if I had a perfect life.
That's it.
Nobody'd want to listen. But because I have walked and I've tripped over and I've fallen down and I've had to get up, I've had to dust myself off. I had to say, you listen, your life is valuable.
Yeah.
Talk to someone down the road that's had a fall as well. And you can show them your scar, because the scar is there for a story to be told. And I help people to share their stories and make peace with their pieces and turn their mess into a message.
I love it. I love it. You know, Christine, I often tell the clients that I work with that it is important that they do not despise their journey.
Absolutely.
No matter how many times you messed up. And here's the thing, and I think this is why it's important also to be thinking about forgiving our own selves, because I know for me and my walk, I was never forced to do anything. I made conscious decisions.
Absolutely.
Good, bad, indifferent, you know, I made them. But I don't despise my journey, no matter how painful elements of it may have been, because I believe that somehow, miraculously, they've come together to help to mold and shape me and create me into the woman who I am today.
Absolutely.
And I like who I am today. I like me.
Yeah.
You know, there's still things that I'm working on. There's still things that I need to improve about myself. I'm committed to lifelong improvement and development. It's part of my personal mission to become the best version of myself. But I don't discount I don't live with regret. I don't spend my time thinking, oh, I wish I didn't. Oh, I wish I no, because every single element, every single part of life, every single tear, every piece of laughter, all of it has come together to bring me to this point right now. And had I not maybe gone through the things that I've gone through, maybe I would not be equipped with what I have and then have the wonderful opportunity to do what it is that I do. But that piece about forgiving your own self is something that I think we really need to get today, because it's so easy for us to, well, let me speak for myself. It can be real easy for me, Christine, to forgive someone else. If you step on my toe, Christine, and you say sorry, it's okay, it's all right, it's cool, don't worry.
Yeah.
But let me make the same mistake to myself, and I can be beating myself up about it for weeks.
I should have done, I could have done, I should have done, and that can go on forever.
And it has such a damaging impact on us. So I think there is something beautiful about forgiving yourself and being able to get that freedom that we all deserve.
And the sleep. And the sleep. We've all been down a no entry road when we shouldn't be down there. I'm not talking physically driving. You go down a no entry road, and by the time you're halfway down the road, I need to back up. But by that time, it's too late.
Too late.
It's too late. It's too late. But you make that mistake, like if you get lost, you won't get lost in the same place again. And in every situation, you have to ask yourself the question, what can I learn? Or what did I learn?
Yeah.
What did I learn from that? Or what can I? If you're in it, what can I learn from this? What can I learn about them? And what can I learn about myself? Resilience. It may be that decision, that deciding factor. No more. I want to change lives. I deserve better than this. What can I learn about me? And what have I learned about you or people or a situation? So it's life lessons. And once we're alive every day, if you look for lessons, there will be lessons.
They'll show up. Absolutely.
They will show up. They will show up.
We've got to take the power back.
Absolutely.
We've got to reclaim it and understand that, and I often say this, that I may not be able to get to a brand new destination, a brand new place in life overnight. But what I can do overnight is change my direction of travel. If I was going down a road that was going to lead to destruction, I might not be able to be safe tomorrow because it might have taken me 10 years to walk down that road. But what I can do is turn around and make different decisions that are
Absolutely.
conducive to the place where I actually want to be, to the safety or to the peace or to the love or to the joy that I actually want to feel. And I think that's one of the incredible things about life, is that we have the power to make decisions.
And if you're not in a place to make decisions, there are people around the world that will walk with you until you get to that place that you can make the decision by yourself.
Yes, absolutely. I've got a question that I really want to bring in.
Okay.
Oh goodness, where is it now? Bianca says, has God's love helped you to find your value? I think it's a beautiful question. I had to share it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In Psalms 139, it says, I knew you before your mother knew you. And that one I had to read and say, if you created me and there was no mistake about me and I do not see what you see, show me how you see me. And God took me on a journey until one morning, I'm telling you, I looked at my bedroom, has wardrobes, I've got mirrors. I woke up one morning, as you do, no makeup. I looked at myself, I looked to the right. I said, but hold on a minute. I was like, God, do you know what? Yeah, I'm okay. But I had to go on that journey because I could not see where this beauty was.
Yeah.
And as I shared with you today, I can go on the street without my makeup on and I feel fine.
Yes.
I love my makeup, but I feel good. But it's been a journey. And sometimes people are not prepared to take off and go to the root of the problem to get to the beauty. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are, but sometimes we don't appreciate that. And comparison, we compare ourselves. Comparison of self is the thief of all joy. If I don't say anything else, comparison of yourself is the thief of all joy because you're never looking at yourself. You're always looking to the right or to the left. She's doing, he's doing, they're doing. Right. And don't look back. You cannot drive forward while you're looking in the rear view mirror.
Can't work.
You can't. You can't. So if you're not in a place where you feel that you can make the steps on the journey, find yourself a mentor, find yourself a coach, find yourself an accountability partner that you actually speak what you want to do and they hold you accountable to your words. But get some help. You don't have to make this journey by yourself.
No.
I made it by myself when I was young, but I did when I was able to form those things. What do I need? I was then able to go out and find someone that would help me, that I would be able to serve others because I wanted to give back.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to tell my story. I didn't know how to without causing damage to everybody else, naming and shaming. That was my true story. But you learn how to craft your story that people come away thinking, oh my God, she shared. And I feel that she shared her heart. I haven't damaged nobody. I can speak about my mother because my mother is my mother and it's my story. My sister's stories are different, but that's my story. And they had to make peace with the fact that that's Christine's story. I honor my mother, but I know that her childhood somewhere there was trauma. And the very fact that I know that I can hug her and embrace her and love her and forgive.
Yes, forgive. Christine, you shared so much with us today, and I definitely want to thank you. Let me just bring in this comment real quick. Debbie says, when you're in a dark place, you leave yourself vulnerable to all sorts of negativity, which you then, inevitably you start to believe. And it is so, so true. But Christine, here's the thing. We've been speaking for an hour now.
Yes.
Always happens. This happens every single week. There may be someone who is just tuned in right now, or there may be someone who maybe was distracted a little while before, or who knows, whatever could have happened. If there was one message that you wanted us to all leave with? If we were to forget every single other thing else that you have shared with us today, what's the one thing that you'd want us to remember?
Learning to love yourself is the greatest gift of all.
Mm.
And out of that, everything else flows. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love others.
Mm.
If you don't love yourself or learn to love yourself or get someone to help you to unpack, because it sounds a lot, people just can't. But learning to love yourself is the greatest gift of all, because when you love yourself, you can love with an open heart of others, and you can make your healthy boundaries to protect you, because you are precious. You won. Nobody else. You one are so precious, so valuable, so powerful. But it starts with a heart of love.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christine. Christine, I promised you this was going to be an hour's conversation.
That's fine.
We have gone a little bit over, so I want to thank you for being so gracious and sticking with us. But before I do let you go, I have to ask, I'm sure there are people who are wishing right now that they had a connection with you. And, thank you for being open and sharing your heart and sharing what you have with us in this space. But I believe that this platform that I'm creating is also about giving people like yourself the opportunity to be highlighted in the community, so that people know, hey, you're looking for something, I've got it right here. We have greatness in our community, people. We have amazing people like Christine who are within reach. And so, Christine, I want you to just let everyone know, how can they connect with you? How can they buy into what it is that you're doing? How can we support you in what it is that you're doing? How can we find you again after this?
Well, one, I'd like to say, Naomi, thank you for allowing me to share. I do hope those that were listening got something from me sharing. You can find me. I am on social media as my name, Christine Giscombe. I do have a website for my mentoring and my coaching, and that is www.borntoexcel.co.uk. My personal email that you can send to, and I will respond, is christine@borntoexcel.co.uk. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter as Christine, Instagram. Instagram. So I'm on Facebook as Christine Giscombe, Instagram, Christine Giscombe, and Born to Excel is where I operate from. And I do hope that people found it valuable, because I've enjoyed the show. We could talk forever anyway.
Oh, we could.
But I do hope that it was encouraging to hear that it's not where we start and what happens in life, it's where we're going.
Yeah.
That matters.
Oh, well, everyone, you've heard it here. Let me just put the web address back on the screen again: www.borntoexcel.co.uk. And I'm sure from that point you'll be able to get the links to all of Christine's socials from directly from there. So please do connect. Go follow her on Instagram. Connect with her on Facebook, and get involved in some of the great things that she's doing. Christine, before we go, can you share with us? You talked about the mothers and daughters thing that you have going on. Please just let us know a little bit more about that.
So Mothers and Daughters, it's called My Story, Your Story, Our Story, and it is a movement that I've started, a support platform for mothers and daughters to heal the fractured relationships that have been spoken through words, and I do it through conversations. So it's called Mother and Daughter Conversations. I haven't put the videos up on YouTube, but they will be going. There's a lot of work going on with the website and the YouTubes. But I've had such a huge demand for mother and daughter, repairing mother and daughter relationships. It's a safe place. So there are mother and daughters from all ages, and there are different workshops for all groups, age groups. and we come back and we have a conversation. The young ones say what they like about their mothers. Mothers get support from mothers, and it's so needed. It is so needed. So the platform is it, and it's healing through words. It's words whispered, words written, and words spoken. So that's what I'm doing, Mothers and Daughters. I'm super excited about it, and it's born out of my own mother and daughter story. So yes, that's Mothers and Daughters, Mother and Daughter Conversations. That's what it's called.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So, people check it out once I'm sure if you follow Christine, you'll be able to see once she announces whatever's going to be happening with that once lockdown is finished. So please stay tuned and go and support. Debbie says, thank you so much, ladies. I learned so much.
Thank you, Debbie.
God bless you both. Thank you. And thank you to every single person who's been on here, who's watched live, who's watched on the replay. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing. And especially thank you to you, Christine. It's been such an honor, such a privilege having this conversation with you. I wasn't sure where this conversation was going to go. I knew there were so many different ways that it could go, but I am truly confident that the way that it went was the exact way it needed to go.
Yes.
That there are people who are watching this now, or who may even watch a year from now, who will need exactly what it is that you have given to us all today. And so I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for having the courage to share your story, for having the bravery really to be able to repurpose your own pain and to be able to be that person to inspire, to encourage, and to help that healing process in people, in women all over the world from all walks of life. Thank you for your gift. It's such a blessing to be able to experience it. Thank you so much. And to everyone watching, thank you all so much, because if it wasn't for you, there absolutely would not be any show. So thank you for spending some time with us again this Sunday. I'm pleased to announce, of course, that we are going to be back again right here from 8 p.m. British Summer Time next Sunday. And we have another special guest all the way from Los Angeles. So tune in same time next week to hear that conversation. It's another conversation that I'm excited to have. And you all know I give this little rant at the end of every show. Look, we have someone of Christine's caliber right here in the UK, right here. She could be your next door neighbor. In fact, I believe actually she does live close to Debbie, which I found that out. So literally, we have some amazing people who are within our network. So I want to encourage you all to tap into your network and see who's out there, see who's doing some great work, see who needs your support, and go out and support. It doesn't cost anything to like. It doesn't cost anything to share. It doesn't cost anything to give a word of encouragement and support. So even if you may not have the finances to be able to support people within your network who are doing great things, do what you can with what you have and celebrate people as they are climbing up, because you never know. There could be one day when Christine is going to be so far out of reach because she's hit the big time and she's, but and then that's when everyone's going to want to turn around and be like, yeah, I know her. Christine, let me be one to say that I'm applauding and I'm clapping for you right now.
I applaud you too, Naomi. I applaud you. Thank you for stepping out. Thank you.
No. It's truly a privilege. So everyone, that is it from me. Thank you, Christine. Thank you to all of you who are watching or on the replay. And I'm really wishing that you all really apply the powerful lessons that Christine has shared with us today. It's been a lot of information. Go back and rewatch this if you need to. But I really hope that you've taken away something that can begin to start a positive change in your life. And so that's all for me. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Naomi Empowers Show. I wish you all a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week, same time at 8 p.m. Take care, Christine.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
See you all. Bye-bye.